Anyway, welcome to episode 132 of Convos. On the Pedicab, we're here with filmmaker and political activist Jamie Hammond.
That's me.
Before we get started, well, actually, Jamie's received a lot of recognition for exposing the Violet Crown Trail and the homeless encampment on the Violet Crown Trail. It's gotten millions of views. It's been shared all over the world, and you've been on a lot of nationally syndicated news shows. But anyway, before we get started, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Have you been leaving your house outside again? Texas weather can wreak havoc on your home, especially your roof. And if you haven't had it inspected lately, chances are that outside elements could be making their way inside your home. Trust Balcones Roofing and Remodeling to perform a thorough roof inspection and offer long-lasting solutions. They are the only 5-star rated roofer in Austin who specialize in installing the impact-resistant F-Wave Revia and can back all roof replacements with a $20,000 guarantee. To schedule a roof inspection, call 512-937-8805 or visit balconesroofsaustin.com. All right, Jamie, so happy to have you.
Yeah, happy to be here.
You went from Fox Business to talking to a man on a tricycle, so it's actually I feel really honored that you're actually making time. And
No, this is good. I got it. Working with Fox has been kind of sketchy the last week or so. I found out. So.
Yeah, why is that?
Yeah, corporate media, man. I was with InfoWars yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, working with somebody like InfoWars and working with mainstream media is night and day. The difference between the two. So, I just put it out there that Fox is not that great to work with.
No, the InfoWars guys are awesome people.
Yeah, they are.
Harrison's awesome. Owen's awesome.
Yep.
And you're going on Alex's show,
hopefully,
tomorrow or something like that?
Hopefully in the next few days, hopefully.
So you're making it into the big leagues.
Getting there, man. We got the last week has changed things for us. That the Violet Crown Trail, that video, it's funny because we spend a lot of money making 20-minute videos and 30-minute videos, and Tim and I go out and we shoot a 15-second video, and that 15 seconds is what does it for us. So,
millions of people saw that. I mean, that video is eye-opening.
Yeah, it's a crazy video.
There was cars and shopping carts and just.
Yeah, well, that area, we had been trying to, so we've known about the area for quite some time. We didn't know how bad it was. We couldn't get in there. A month ago, there was a murder in there. A guy was shot and killed, and so the area is very dangerous, and we've been looking for a way to get in there for some time, and Tim's the guy that does this with me. He had the idea that we kind of come in from the backside and come there. It's like a big hill, a big kind of mountain, and we hiked up the back of that thing, and we came in early in the morning when everybody was asleep. We only really saw, one guy that we actually talked to. But yeah, there's trailers, there's cars. The amount of you can smell the camp well before you get to it. That's how bad it is. It is worse than a landfill. There's so much trash in the place that I'm afraid to say that it's never going to be the same again. Never. It's never going to be the same.
No, and it's by a body of water. What lake is it by? Just for people that don't know.
I'm not sure. I know Gaines Creek. It runs. So that area is a runoff. It's for the Edwards Aquifer. So the water that comes off of that area feeds that aquifer. So it's a very protected, very, the natural resources that come out of that area are very protected. Well, they're supposed to be very protected.
Well, and you think if you'd be worried about climate change, you'd kind of want to protect the Edwards Aquifer.
Yeah. You would think so. And as of today, I've reached out to, pretty much everybody that I can find environmentally, and nobody will touch it. So I'm not sure where these people are at. The people that, the group Save Our Springs here in Austin, they have nothing to say.
Have you reached out to them?
Yes, I have on Twitter.
How have you reached? Just on Twitter?
Just on Twitter,
Have you emailed them?
I have not emailed them.
Have you gone to the offices?
Nope.
That could be a fun project for us to do.
Let's do it.
We should go into the Save Our Springs offices and be like, "Hi, I was just wondering what your thoughts on this are, and
see, that's never been something that we've done, but I would definitely like to do that.
You know what? I will clear my schedule and make this.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
I'm ready.
Maybe even tomorrow afternoon or something. That I have 2 podcasts. But we could maybe tomorrow Friday or something.
Yeah, let's do it.
We can figure this out.
Yep, let's do it. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Find some other people too.
What other environmental groups have you hit up about this?
Oh shoot, there's I'd have to look at my Twitter, but there's a whole list of folks that it's not just me. It's that my followers have been hitting people up, and the other thing that I find interesting about it is the local media here in Austin have. I've been on everything from Daily Mail, BBC. I mean, everybody has covered this story. Local media has they haven't said a word about it, and I kind of put out a message. I tweeted about that last week, and shortly after I tweeted about that, I started getting messages from some journalists saying, we're going to get to you. We're going to get to you. We're busy with this, but we'll talk to you this coming week. But I'll tell you, I haven't heard from anybody yet. So
yeah, we have to talk about how we're going to cancel Joe Rogan or something like that. That's more.
That's what they're getting to.
Like,
yeah, for sure. It's sad.
Kind of, it's a bit of a clown world where we're at, you know. But yeah, this is sorry, my girlfriend was texting me. It's always a staple. Every episode is you get a call from the lady, like you just get a call from your girlfriend right as you're recording.
Yeah, I left my phone on during InfoWars yesterday, and it rang.
Boy.
So that was a bit embarrassing.
I'm like, sorry, babe. InfoWars is more important now.
I'm on the TV.
Yeah, I'm on television. Mom, I'm on television. Yeah, right.
You know what I did? I had Tim taking pictures. I love that.
Yeah, to fanboy a little bit, like,
a little bit, with Harrison, and then you could hear Alex, out in the hallway with that, the voice, and it's like, hey, can I go out in the hallway real quick? Somebody I got to go see.
Yeah, it's funny. I did the Rebels for Cause event with Harrison.
Yeah, Harrison's a nice. I
really
love
cool
Harrison.
Guy.
Yeah, the guy.
Really.
The guy's passionate about what he does.
Well, he's also easy to talk to.
For sure. Very easy to interview with.
Extremely easy to talk to, and like you could disagree with him on stuff. And just be like, well, ask him a basic set of questions, and he'll go about his reasoning and say things. He never loses his cool, which is great.
Yeah, and as far as interviewing, his style is very. It's a good style. It makes you feel very comfortable, and it kind of flows. So
I had a blast when I went on his show and I went live. I had a blast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Absolutely,
it was a lot of fun going on his show.
Yeah, at first I was a little intimidated about the length of time, of sitting in there, an hour.
Why?
But
we talked for an hour, right? It's the same thing.
It goes so quickly. All these interviews go very quick. Setting like this, I like these long forms where we just kind of sit here and talk. But the more, structured ones like at InfoWars where there's commercials, it goes by so freaking fast. But these go by fast too, where we can just kind of sit and hang out and talk.
Yeah, I love doing this because you get to have like these respected politicians or like people that have been on major news like publications like yourself, and now here you are on a tricycle, like getting. I love it.
Second time
getting eaten by mosquitoes. It's the best.
Yeah, it's hot. It's Texas. Love it.
It's Texas, yeah.
I'm probably shining all up here with my stuff.
Totally insane. So you've hit up a bunch of environmental groups.
Yeah.
And nobody's gotten back to you?
Nobody. Not one person. I had a contact in the city that I worked with. I'm not going to mention any names, but and even those folks have gone radio silent recently.
Have you called Craig Nazer, the guy? I think he used to be in charge of Save Our Springs. I don't know if he is anymore.
No, I didn't.
Because that guy is cool. I talk to that guy. Every time I talk to the guy, he's always a fun person to talk to.
I wonder if he's still in charge.
I don't know. I have his. I'm gonna actually give him a call and see if he wants to do an episode and talk about.
That would be a good thing to talk.
Yeah.
I would love to hear their thoughts on what's happening because that area. It was brought to my attention from one of my followers. It's a big area for the Edwards Aquifer. It's in something called like a feeder, where the water that runs off the backside of that is feeding directly into the aquifer. And if you see the amount of trash and human waste and needles nothing good can be going into the aquifer from that place. It's
nothing
sad.
Good. It's not good.
Yeah, not good at all.
It's not, and also the way we develop and the way we develop buildings and stuff like that, and the fact that we're building so close to these areas is also really bad for the environment.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's very scary, and the climate change crowd is silent when there's like an influx of Uber drivers that saturate the road on Friday night on a small congested street like Rainy Street,
making it dangerous for you guys.
Making it dangerous for us. It destroys small businesses, and not like aside from like monetarily. there's just so much pollution that goes in the atmosphere unnecessarily by
For
having
sure.
all of these drivers saturate one area of the street.
Well, and then you get your local politicians. Like today, I've been in a little bit of a Twitter spat with our councilman Cheeto.
Oh yeah, how what's I haven't really been on Twitter today.
Well,
What's...
they had the Echo, which is the group here in Travis County that does the point in time count for the homelessness. I guess had a briefing today from Echo, and they're trying to say that I forget the percentages, but it's like 85% of the homeless here in Austin started here in Austin. And for one, that's crazy. We talk to hundreds and hundreds of homeless people, and most all of them are not from here. But the other thing that's crazy is that point in time count is so inaccurate. When they do the point in time count, they do it at night. In the middle of the night, literally, in between like 12 and 4 in the morning, they're sending these poor people into these homeless camps where that's where the crazy stuff is happening. That's where everybody's drugged up and liquored up. These people are scared for their lives, and we've talked to them. And then they go out and they are and they say this count is accurate. This count is off by at least, 4 to 4,500 people. It is so off that I cannot believe that they actually use that is what the city is using to measure their success.
So why would they send people out in the middle of the night to get a count?
That's a very good question. And, I haven't ever seen or heard of a very good answer for that. Echo will not talk to us. So, I haven't really attempted
like
to.
Like I said, go into the office and ask. Hey, just literally go into the office. I've been doing this with the Restrict Act stuff.
Yeah.
Go into the office with the camera. Hi, I'm just wondering, I sent you a few emails about this question. It seems like it's pretty pertinent. We just want to keep our community safe and not, while showing compassion for the homeless. I haven't heard a response. We just wanted to talk to you guys and see what we can do.
That's a really good point. We should be doing
polite,
that
be
stuff.
Be really nice. Don't be mean. Don't be hostile. And get the interaction on film and then just share the interaction.
That's a good point. You've been doing that for a while. You've got a lot of experience with it.
Yeah,
Maybe we should team up.
We should. I would love that.
Right.
This would be fun. I always love collaborating and doing all that stuff.
All right.
That's what me and Hiram were doing this with the Restrict Act stuff. And I mean, that has so far been tabled. It's not really a thing anymore. Like I don't think it's going to move forward because of the backlash, which is good, but it can always come back. But I think stuff like that, and I didn't stop that, right? I think enough people did, but I think like going to your offices and knocking on doors and just telling people how you feel about certain things and filming it is kind of it actually moves the needle forward a lot more than people think it is,
And doing what we do, the city has their narrative, and we have enough followers and viewers now to where their narrative gets crushed. It's like last week, we go out, we put this video out. The city has been talking about cleaning that place up for months, but there was never any actual plans to do it.
Yeah.
We put that video out, and then today, or actually it was yesterday, they were out there.
Oh, now they're cleaning
Now they're cleaning it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So we should think about we should hit up Echo and talk about.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
What do we do? What do we do to make it so that this stuff does not become a staple of a reoccurring trend? And what can we also do to maintain compassion for the homeless and not have a complete right-wing backlash as a result of the way this has obviously been mishandled?
Well, you can be compassionate with the homeless, and part of
you're not. Jamie, I know this. This is what we were saying to them.
Yeah, I see, but a lot of people, they have the perception that all we want to do is go out and ticket these people and put them in jail, and that's not the case. I'm finding out in the last week, since we picked up on viewership, that a lot of people think that that's what the right wing or that's what conservatives want, and that's not true. There's $500 million a year that the city has that's being used for homelessness. Now, they are using the majority of that to do. I put out a message earlier today where down on 290, where they go in every week, they're cleaning this one particular camp, and every week it comes right back. So they're spending millions doing this, and when we could have services for these people. mental health services, addiction services. We could be treating the causes of homelessness.
It's a lot more lucrative for these people to conduct studies.
For sure it is.
And
kind of
do
like
the
Echo.
housing first model. Yeah. Because the more studies you conduct, the more they find something wrong, which that's what they're designed to do. And then the more problems you find, well, the more money you need. So like a lot of the funding that goes into this stuff, I could be wrong, but it feels like the funding just goes into conducting studies, which are specifically designed to acquire more funding and not actually help the homeless.
That kind of goes back to Echo as well. They go out, they do this count at night, and they get just enough numbers, just enough people counted to get the federal dollars pumped in here. And that's what it's about. They get just enough. They just, they got to get over that hump, which, is around 2,500 people. So, and they get just enough, boom, they get their federal dollars. Everybody's happy. And then the city uses those failed, messed up, vastly, off numbers to measure their success.
Well, yeah, like let me get my friend who has a degree in this field, let's pay him to conduct the study.
Yeah,
and
homeless and industrial complex.
Exactly, and then that person in turn will help campaign for me in the future.
And it happens.
And that's kind of like the rough draft of what's like the guerrilla version of it, right? But what do the people that do the counts look like?
Oh, it's just everyday. I mean, because average everyday people.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking this is because if you're going into a homeless encampment at 2 o'clock in the morning and you're like a 50-year-old lady.
Yep, that's it. That's who's doing it.
Chances are you're going to be a little bit more afraid to go into a lot of these areas than like a fit 30-year-old man who's been doing jiu-jitsu forever or something like that. So
I'll give you an example. I know a guy.
Use the numbers is what I'm saying.
Well, I know a guy. He's an older guy. I'm not going to say his name, but he's pretty popular here in Austin. He volunteered for the count. He went into a homeless camp that's in the area where he lives, and he was threatened with a machete that if he didn't get out of there, something bad was going to happen. So do you think, and that was a very large homeless camp with probably 50 or 60 people in it. Not one of those 50 or 60 people got counted.
How do you know that?
Because he told me.
But you could just say that we have roughly 60 people that we found.
No, they have a form that they have to go down. They ask specific questions to each person, and that's how they try to get these. So
the homeless count is based on people voluntarily filling out information?
Yes.
So if you're homeless, why are you going to voluntarily fill out
Exactly.
Everything?
Yeah, exactly.
This episode is brought to you by Balcones Roofing and Remodeling. Have you been leaving your house outside again? Texas weather can wreak havoc on your home, especially your roof. And if you haven't had it inspected lately, chances are that outside elements could be making their way inside. Trust Balcones Roofing and Remodeling to perform a thorough roof inspection and offer long-lasting solutions. They are the only 5-star rated roofer in Austin who specialize in installing the impact-resistant F-Wave Revia and back all roof replacements with a $20,000 guarantee. To schedule a roof inspection, call 512-937-8805 or visit balconesroofsaustin.com.
Exactly. He's been told, he was telling us that people tell them, I will not give you any information. You need to get out of here. Each person they fill out, information they have. I'm not sure exactly what the metrics are, but yes, each person in that camp will, they ask certain questions to, and that's how they get counted.
So then why are they even doing something like the count, when it's so wildly inaccurate?
That's a good question.
And how do you even accurately measure the number of homeless people that are in Austin?
I've been trying to figure out a way for my company to actually get a count, and there's really not an easy way. You would have to get an accurate count, you would have to assign some kind of identifier to each person to make sure they got counted and to make sure they didn't get counted twice.
But how do you do that? How do you assign that identifier?
I can't find a way.
I mean, what do you think? Let's brainstorm. How do you think an oppressive government would try to spin this?
It's a good question. I have no clue, man. We've been working on this for months, and there's not an easy way to do it. There's not a good way.
I know what they're going to try to do.
What's that?
They're going to try to use central bank digital currencies.
That's a good way to do it.
As a way to sell the public on providing people with a livable wage and provide people with housing for everyone. And then, using a centralized digital ID, if these homeless people were to comply and get that digital ID,
that's a good point.
Hey, we are going to give you housing, and we're going to give you a universal wage so that you will never have to be homeless again
Yeah,
on the street. They'll do some half-assed plan like that, and then all of a sudden, that's how they're going to start. They're creating this problem to use CBDCs as a cure for it.
Yeah.
One hypothesis that I'm thinking of.
That's a good point. Yeah, that'd be a perfect way to do it. You have a little card, boom, perfect. Hand out cards.
Here's a biometric chip that that we tattoo on you.
Well,
You don't have to,
that's coming too.
potentially. Although a lot of these homeless people are not gonna comply with that.
Well, I think if there was, we have found out that if there's some little monetary, if we go in with cigarettes, that normally they wouldn't let us film them, but if we hand out cigarettes, then absolutely they'll let us film. So if there's something attached to it, they'll more than likely take it.
You think so? Remember when you went to that homeless camp? There was that guy who thought the trees were talking to him.
Yeah, he's out of jail again.
Well,
yeah.
okay, of course he is. Yeah.
He's back at it. Actually, we just saw him. Tim and I saw him a week ago. He's actually out building crosses out of rocks and talking to the trees again.
Wow. What was he in jail for?
I believe he was in jail for destroying city property, and I believe he assaulted a jogger or something like that.
Oh, how long was he in jail for?
Not long. I think he was in there about a month, and then they said that they were going to keep him in there because he was absolutely nuts and he was a danger. And then one day we're out filming and we see him.
There he is. Well, I'm glad that our city's committed to keeping us safe.
I can't believe he's back out, but he is. Yeah, he's out there. The guy, Tim, the guy that I talked to him not long ago, he was out on Man Shack building his big-ass rock crosses right on the road.
Wow.
A lot of work that guy does.
Yeah.
He's nuts, man. He's nuts.
Okay, but anyway, the point that I was saying, do you think that guy would consent to like having something like that in his skin?
Probably not.
Even
no.
if you gave him like $1,000, like I don't think any amount of money would ever.
I don't know. Somebody like that thinks the devil's in the trees watching him already. Probably not.
And there are a lot of homeless people who actually do feel that way.
Yeah.
So it might actually be difficult. Like what I'm hypothesizing is probably like if you really think about it, it's probably not even gonna. That plan is not even gonna work. The idea of like, hey, we're gonna use CBDCs to like help house the homeless and help give people a universal wage and do all that, like, and they're gonna say it's to help the homeless crisis, but anybody who's around homeless people for any amount of time period understand that a lot of these people there's a lot of schizophrenia.
Yeah,
and there are actually a lot of very paranoid religious beliefs
for sure
in that community, and with those factors at play, I don't think that the homeless are going to consent to this.
No, probably not. There's a lot of it out there. On my way here, I was over on Old Torf, and there was a guy on the corner out there that had his clothes on backwards, and he was preaching. And he had his clothes on backwards completely, even his underwear that was hanging out. It was a mess. But these people, and that's the thing. There's so much mental illness in this community, the homeless community. We can go in a camp today, and let's say it's you. Talk to you, you're normal, you're fine. We go in there again tomorrow thinking everything's fine, and you're batshit crazy and wanting to hurt us. And so that happens a lot.
You see that a lot, and you have to be very patient.
Very patient.
I used to work with like special needs kids.
Yeah, you gotta be a good talker and have an exit plan. Never let yourself get kind of cornered. That's a big one.
Yeah, have an exit strategy. Only figure out what to do in this situation. Plan out what'll happen.
Yeah, before we go into a camp now, we sit down with a map and we look at all of our. We plan this out because it can get scary.
But the camera's also good too.
Yeah.
Either way, because hey, the cameras are just to make sure nothing happens to us. That's all. And to make sure nothing happens to you guys.
Well, a lot of these folks know who we are now too. So some of them are all right with us, and some of them are not.
I feel like it's pretty a mixed bag. I feel like the ones that want to get help like you, and the ones that do not hate you because you're blowing up their spot.
Yep, exactly. It's exactly what it is. That's why the guy came at me with that rebar that one night, is because I filmed his camp that had got taken out a week before, and he recognized me. So it's scary.
Yeah, do you think your newfound publicity is going to make it harder for you to do what you're doing in Austin?
I don't think so. It's actually it's better in a lot of ways. We're starting a huge conversation around this, not only here locally, but I have people reaching out to me from all over the country. I had a guy reach out to me from Dallas on Monday, wanting me to help him put a group together in Dallas that does what we do. There's a group in New York wanting to do the same thing, and they're wanting us to help. They're wanting to pay us to kind of train these people on what we've learned over the last, since we've been doing this to keep safe. And I don't necessarily think if I'm ready for all of that, but yeah, it's starting a conversation, and it's getting more citizen journalists involved for sure.
I think this stuff can actually change the national paradigm
for sure,
and it can even have an impact on this presidential election and definitely the next one moving forward. Because look at the places where it's a big problem, right? And Austin's not even at the top of the list.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
From being in Austin for a while, we have a lot of homeless, but most of our homeless are pretty chill. They're pretty mellowed out.
They are.
They're not like that violent or aggressive. Like the average homeless person in Austin is way less violent than just probably the average like person who lives in the Philadelphia housing project.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you have to, people need to understand and have that in perspective. But
that's the thing.
Having outreach teams in places like that could really shine a light as to why a lot of these policies are failing, who the leadership is that's supporting them, and you have a person like RFK Jr. that's running in the Democrat primary, like someone
been watching him a lot,
and a lot of people who live in those areas do not want to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
but they might just say, you know what, we're gonna let's try something new. Let's try RFK Jr. Let's try somebody else that actually could offer a different solution to that. So that's kind of my thing about
I put out a poll to my followers on Twitter, and in a theoretical matchup between Trump and RFK. RFK came out ahead.
I would choose RFK Jr. over Trump.
It was kind of shocking to me. Now, in the same poll between Trump and the guy from Florida, I can't remember. Yeah, DeSantis. It was Trump all the way.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta take this. Babe, I'm doing my podcast. What's up?
Hey Tim, you want to take a few pictures?
All right, I love you. All right. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back. We're back. That's why I like this podcast, man. It's so it's
so informal. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's so look, it's a great format to get people talking. Seriously, it is. It is. I feel comfortable.
People get way comfortable because it's not you're not in a crazy studio. You're not rigid. Like you're on a bike. You're in the elements. You're getting attacked by a mosquito. You get to really be yourself.
That was the thing that I got critiqued on yesterday. Is I was sitting too straight.
Yeah, I'm not sitting straight at all.
Yeah, me either. I'm slumped.
Yeah, I'm slumping, baby. It's what it is.
I'm getting your. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that. This went off the rails quick.
No. What were we talking? Oh yeah, the presidential polls and all that stuff.
Yeah, the president. I was saying I ran a poll to my followers between a theoretical matchup between RFK and Trump, and RFK came out ahead, which surprised me, considering a lot of my followers are very conservative and a lot of them are Trump supporters. But with what's happening with Trump here lately, it's a lot of people are losing the taste for Trump, so to speak. And
it's not the indictment, though. I think it's just a matter of you got to look at this stuff in reality. If you're going to actually have freedom, you need to live in reality.
Yeah.
And look, part of a big reason why you get fascism is not being the inability to distinguish absurdity with reality, and the confusing absurdity with reality is how you get fascism. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
That is a fact. And that's why normalizing drag queen story hour and children getting sex changes is pretty, when you think about it on the surface, of Sprinkles a drag queen reading to a 5-year-old kid. Yo, that's absurd.
It's crazy is what it is.
That is actually absurd. But what's equally absurd on a completely different level is one man who has billions of dollars that's habitually cheated on all of his wives and screwed people out of tons of money as a real estate mogul, who helped facilitate an event the day he left office. Who helped facilitate an event designed for him that caused a bunch of his supporters to be thrown in jail, which many of them still are.
Yeah,
and
it's a shame.
To these federal agencies stripping our rights away. And the same person who had Julian Assange arrested on his term, when that person helped him get elected, is the one who is fighting the cabal of deep state globalists that
Well,
we're
he's
trying
fighting
to get
them
rid of.
right now. He's
But
literally
But
fighting
you understand
for
how
his life
crazy? Do you like when you think
Yeah,
about
it's
that? Like
nuts.
that is also that's also an absurdity in and of itself. If you like buy fully into this, and it
But-
doesn't mean like Trump is bad. Like there's things that he did that were good for the country, right? But if you want to have like freedom, you got to live in reality, right? And that's just.
But a lot of kind of what's happening to him is the reason that, my deal is able to flourish is because people have a distrust in the media. They have a distrust in institutions. They have a distrust in the government. And we are, I don't have anybody telling me what to publish and what not to publish. We just go out and take video, and it is what it is.
No, I agree with you. I just think like some of the anti-DeSantis stuff on Twitter is just like
Yeah.
it just sounds like it sounds from what I see from many people unhinged mental illness. And I don't know if Trump or DeSantis is better. I really don't know who I'm gonna want to pick in at the end of this, but and I know Harrison's like, and Owen and all the Infowars guys are Trump all the way, right?
For sure.
And that's fine. That's cool. Because I could actually have a conversation with them, a clear and rational conversation about why I feel the way I feel and dissect what I'm concerned about. And they'll address those concerns very systematically. And then whatever the conclusions are, I get either more convinced in my conclusions, or I become more willing to like see their perspective and vice versa. And then the people listening to us talking could get a better, more grounded version of what's going on. But like you just
got to keep an open mind.
The MAGA mouth foaming is like kind of crazy. It's kind of like
it's
Antifa
creepy,
in
man.
Reverse. Yeah,
it's
like
creepy.
that's not like healthy either. Right?
You get the far left and the far right. They're both the same. They're both creepy and they're not good for anybody. On both sides, they're all the same. It's like well, you get these, I guess you call them the Twitter influencers that are Trump DeSantis. It's like the fight on Twitter right now between the Trump people and the DeSantis people. It's so stupid.
It is silly, but when you listen to them, the DeSantis people are speaking with a lot more. Seem to be speaking with a lot more clarity.
They seem to be. They seem to be speaking with a lot more clarity. They seem to be a little bit like they come across when they speak as happier and more well-adjusted. I just want somebody other than a Democrat to win.
Unless it's RFK.
Unless it's RFK. Yeah, RFK. I'd vote for him.
I might just vote for RFK Jr. in the Democrat primary.
But do you think the Democrats are going to let him run?
I mean, they can't not let him run.
Ask Bernie.
No, I mean, they still let him run. Will there be some kind of manipulation to skew the votes in favor of Biden?
I heard it's going to Gavin.
Yeah, well,
that's what I've been hearing. Anyway.
From who?
Just talk online.
I mean, it's speculative. Keep your eyes open for it, but like, how does that happen?
I have no clue.
How does that like?
I mean,
that's a really big leap.
It's just like I mean, well, he's running. Obviously, he's running. He's out there putting his 2 cents into everything. I was thinking about that this morning. Like, what would it look like to have a Gavin Newsom president?
Maybe he's not running.
Man.
Maybe he's running for a cabinet position. Maybe he wants a job
That's true.
in the Biden
Yeah,
administration.
that's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? Like his term as governor is going to be done in 2026. Maybe he's campaigning for that. Maybe he's doing something to help someone in his family.
Can you see Biden running again? Do you see any situation where Biden would be running again?
Yeah, why not? For the managerial class, he's perfect.
Except that he can't think.
So what? They don't
or
care.
walk.
Okay, that's great.
Talk.
That's great for them.
Or pretty much.
That's great.
I'm not
for
even
them.
sure he's alive half the time.
If you have a managerial class that wants to create a new world order as a result of a series of catastrophes,
that's true.
One of the things that's standing in the way is the sovereignty of the is the independence and sovereignty of the United States, and who better than to help destroy that than having your leader be somebody like that?
Well, he did.
Who also jails his political. Who also is trying to jail his political opponents.
He just
did right before an election, and regardless of how you feel about Trump or not, like you could look at him in reality and not have him be your first choice, and that's okay. But to like, you got to ask yourself like, all right, well, why is that why is this happening? Right before an election, when you have 36% approval rate, like a 36% approval rating, when most Democrats don't want you to run, and you're seeing like so much backlash from your policies in like a lot of other states in the country, like why, like. The only reason that you're doing this is to look like if you were that confident in your abilities and you were, if you were that confident in your abilities and you wanted to actually move forward from somebody like Donald Trump, the last thing you would actually be doing is wanting to continue talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah,
So
that's all they're doing.
Yeah, so it just seems like it's a moment. It looks, at best, it looks weak, and at worst, it's just being designed to provoke civil unrest.
Well, you jail your main political opponent, right before the primaries are starting, and it's only helping Trump's numbers. His numbers are just
also,
increasing.
It doesn't make a difference because he's not going to go to it's not like he's going to be in jail during the election.
No, not physically in jail, but I mean, he was arrested.
Yeah, he was arrested. And he walked out of court, and then he went to McDonald's and got a Big or Chick-fil-A or something like that.
Wasn't it a Cuban restaurant?
Well, he went to a Cuban restaurant. Yeah, you're right. He did go to a small.
Man,
he did go to a small business. So props to that.
Cuban sandwich, man.
Yeah, he got a Cuban sandwich.
Better.
Cuban sandwiches are good though.
Oh man, I love them.
Cuban, yeah.
Oh, they're awesome.
So good on Donald Trump for not going to like McDonald's or something like that.
Yeah, he went to a local mom and pop, which was pretty awesome.
That actually is pretty cool. You went to a local mom and pop store after your indictment,
and then he went had a speech up north, and Fox was the only outlet that covered it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they are suing Tucker Carlson for literally talking on Twitter.
Yeah, and then they bumped me because of the Trump fiasco.
Yeah, and people are still tuning into Fox News. It's
I don't know.
So insane.
Yeah, Fox, working with them over the last week, they seemed a little disorganized. I know that I'm just some little guy from Texas, but, it was like we were getting ready to go to the studio, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're bumped. Sorry. Okay, well, we're going to have you on Monday. Sorry, Monday's not going to work. We'll do Tuesday. Tuesday gets here, and it's just now we don't hear back from them. So, it is what it is. I don't, I'm not too big on going on the mainstream media, but it's this kind of stuff that works better.
Exposure. And to be honest, I don't think going on Fox News is even going to help the problem because Fox is only catering to an echo chamber, right? Like, most people who live in LA or San Francisco or places where this is actually a real issue, they're not even going to listen to your speech anyway or your appearance
they're not.
Because they don't watch Fox. So it's probably better if you actually want to fix this problem. It's better to be on a CNN.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's better to be on like
where you can
MSNBC.
change minds.
Yeah, where you're actually going to attract the viewers who live in that part of the country. Right?
Yeah, I didn't really have any liberal outlets contact me. Really. ABC ran an article about it.
What about like the people like Crystal Ball and Sager Ajiti and like some of these other people that are actually like more independently left leaning?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't reached out to anybody. I need to start reaching out to more people.
You should talk to my producer too. My producer Hiram Garcia. Well, I mean Gary's my producer for the podcast, but the person who like films me doing my videos sometimes with the council and films my like
we got
stuff like that, or films me. The person who filmed me with the Restrict Act stuff has some connections with he has some connections with a lot of Democrats and
well, I've got
some of those news outlets.
I'm signing on. I've got a influencer manager I'm working with now.
Oh, wow.
So hopefully that.
Dude, it is hot as fuck though.
Sorry, I've had a cold the last few days.
Got COVID. Got monkeypox.
I got the COVID, man. No, I don't have COVID. I got monkeypox.
Monkeypox.
I got the monkeypox. Oh man, stay away from me.
Yeah.
No, you got the. Good Lord, man. How do you recover from that?
I don't know.
It is hot out here, though. I got a thing in my throat.
Well, it's like, what's the first symptom of? What's the first sign of AIDS?
That's a good question.
Sensation in your asshole.
Good Lord, man. That is true, though. I mean, if you've got, if you're getting AIDS, that's a good point. I can't wait to watch this. I honestly can't. Good Lord, man.
It was a fun episode.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not like anything I've done yet. All the other appearances I've done have been very staunchy, and except for InfoWars, we kind of cut up a little bit on there. But these are fun. These are fun.
The Pedicab is fun.
Yeah,
with all 40 listeners. But hopefully, I'm going to be on Rockfin soon and all that. And actually, I'm on Rockfin right now. But I'm going to upload all my past episodes and get caught up, and then just share the Rockfin channel.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's the goal, and then I can then I'll probably get a lot more views because it'll be a better audience, less censorship and stuff.
Yeah, you're doing good right now, man. You're picking up a lot of traction. You're Austin's clown.
I am Austin.
You're known as the clown.
I'm the clown, but unfortunately, which is pretty remarkable considering who's governing us.
Hey, when we go into Echo, are you going to be a clown?
No.
Okay.
No, be serious. Actually, do you know if Ann Howard still works with Echo?
I have no clue.
I know she's a county commissioner.
I have no clue.
So she's.
I'll find out. I'll find out all that information before we go out there. That way we know exactly what
Just
we're
let me know who
doing.
to talk to, because I mean, Anne actually went on my podcast like a couple years ago,
Really?
and she's really nice. I've talked to Anne, like I've given her rides before. She's a bureaucrat, and she's
Yeah.
gonna do it in the best interest of Echo as a bureaucracy versus, I think, the homeless people. But she's like I think she's
Well-
at heart a good human being. She wants to do the right thing, and she's open-minded.
I'm interested.
And she's good at talk. She's not gonna get angry if like you talk to her and ask her a basic set of questions, but. You know, if she does work and is involved, I should just show up and like actually talk to her. Be like, hey, Anna, you know, me and Jamie Hammond want to actually go in and talk to you about this. Would you be down to like? Is there a time frame that you're down for? We're gonna have it on. Like,
yeah, for sure.
We're gonna be bringing
Yeah,
cameras. We just want to let you know. We just want to let you know. And if you guys want something to eat, we're gonna bring some food over for you and do something really
Yep.
nice. Yeah.
I don't want to sabotage anybody
No,
or make them look stupid. I'd really like to hear an answer.
Well,
for
somebody
sure.
like Ann Howard, you just like when you go into that office, you just be like, hey, we're here. We probably got some lunch. You know, like do something nice for them so that this way they're like, you know, you're not trying to make them look stupid. You're talking to them, you're getting your content. And this way they can't be angry at you if you're like, well, we came and we bought you food with our money. You know, like just do something like
I'm
that.
gonna eat even if they don't.
Well, if they say no, I'm eating it. Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna eat it for them.
That's the only way. But I think like that's, you know, that's the next approach. Just go into their offices and be really polite and be really calm. And
I think
ask
we
how
should
they
do
feel.
that. I think in the coming days, we should set that up and get that done for sure.
And find the Save Our Springs and like the Sunrise Movement and some of these other environmental organizations.
Save Our Springs is a big one. I wonder if they've got a storefront or an office.
There is an office. I know people that I'm friends with somebody that I think is a lawyer for them. So I will actually I might go tubing with him soon, and I'm gonna to ask him some questions about that.
Just don't do it in a place that's fed by the Edwards Aquifer.
Uh-oh. Well, it depends. If
Just
you're
kidding,
far
man.
enough
I'm
away,
just
you're
kidding.
fine. But that is just fucking crazy because people fish and they like do stuff.
Poor fish.
Although
man.
to be honest, you know, the environment is resilient.
Yeah.
Fish are resilient, and this stuff is never gonna like. It's not gonna destroy it for like whatever problems there are. Nature always heals.
Well, what kills
You
me
know,
is Austin looks at that place and calls it its crown jewel. You know, that's in the literature and the guidebooks, and then you know it's just completely destroyed out there. And not the whole thing. I mean, the Violet Crown Trail is a very long trail, and we're only we're talking about the portion that's to the south, but. You know, in the video, you only see like 2% of how it is mind blowing how big that homeless camp is. I just don't see how the city's going to clean it. I'm going to go out. I mean, they're doing it right now. We're going to keep going out there each day and filming it. But I want to see how they're doing it.
They're probably gonna do it for a week, and then they're gonna think that the news is gonna die, and then they'll stop. That's what I
I'm
think
not
is
going to let that one
Yeah,
go.
I can see that happening.
That one we're going to stay on top of for sure.
Well, you know what you should do is, I mean, you should be polite and go into. You could even go into their offices.
Yeah.
You could walk into their offices. Have you talked to Mackenzie Kelly?
Yes.
What has Mackenzie said? How's that?
Not about that. Not about that. We've talked about other, sites, other camps, and she does. Mackenzie does a great job. You know, I found one up Lake Creek Parkway and Pecan Park, up in North Austin. Found a huge camp out there, and you know it was. She had that thing cleaned up in no time flat.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, Mackenzie, you know, and it wasn't just kicking the people out. She got the people that were living there into, some shelter. But yeah, Mackenzie is very good at it. It's the other ones. It's Cheeto and Propane Zoe and all these. Propane Zoe, let me tell you something. That guy with the propane he handed out, I would be surprised if there's not a huge fire this summer because of him.
Well, they'll blame it on climate change.
Yeah.
Wait. So let's just back this up for a minute. A sitting city council member gave propane.
Hundreds of
Why would you donate propane
canisters.
to a homeless camp?
We're
Well,
talking,
what is it? Okay, but what's the reasoning behind it?
He not only propane but grills.
Okay.
He in the whole 9 yards, and
What is it like? Hey, we want to make sure that they don't go hungry, so we're gonna donate propane gas grills.
You got it. Yeah, without thinking of the fact that they are off in the middle of the woods in one of the driest areas, and it's gonna cause some trouble. Not only for
When did he do this?
This was last at the end of last year. He started.
So far
handing
nothing's
them out.
happened. Okay, so
Oh
far,
yeah, there's been a lot of fires because of them.
really?
Yeah,
I haven't heard
we
anything
find
about
them. We go into these burned camps and we find them blown open, the propane canisters just blown open. We find them everywhere. We find these propane canisters everywhere.
And that could be another little bit. You go into the homeless camp, be like, hey, I'm with council member Zoe. We have some propane for you.
There's a Propane Zoe account out on Twitter that's really funny.
Hey, we have some propane. Oh my God. So have any of these places, have any like actual residential neighborhoods caught fire because of this?
No, not yet. But that's one of the things I've been harping on lately is it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time before it happens.
Yeah, I mean.
And it's sad. It's sad.
Well,
Williamson Creek Greenbelt, it's houses surrounding that place. And the Williamson Creek Greenbelt is the number one place that those
it's also
propane
sad that
tanks
people
are.
aren't taking an active involvement in correcting this before the city becomes another San Francisco or Los Angeles.
We've been warning about it with our videos and pictures. We've been showing how dangerous it is. We've been showing the burnt camps, and it's just business as usual. So.
Well, the other problem too is that as clown-like as our city is, the Travis County GOP is probably equally, if not more clown-like in the fact that they are unable to capitalize on this.
Yeah. I haven't really
like why this is a problem and like sell their solutions. Like that's another problem in and of itself, right? Because like if I'm somebody like Matt McCoyak, and I actually want people to win, and I actually want to win elections, I'm already thinking about who I want the next district attorney to be.
I think they are.
Right? Like, but I'm already like really thinking about it. I'm figuring out how to convey the message of these problems to average everyday people. Like when you went on Harrison's show, there was an owner the guy who had a home right by the Onion Creek, like by Onion Creek on 35.
Yeah.
And the homeless set up a camp there.
Yeah. Are you talking about the guy we talked about yesterday?
Yeah. So tell me that story, and then I'm gonna go into like what the problem with GOP leadership is as a result of this.
So there's a guy in South Austin. He owns some land down by the shooting range down there called the Range. And it's a pretty big piece of property. The homeless moved onto that property. It's a wooded area. It's not where his house is. It's just his property. And any wooded area the homeless are going to move into. So they did. They moved in there. He ended up calling the police department to have them come kicked off his land because he had it gated, signs up, private property, and they wouldn't do anything about it. They would not make them leave. The city's host team, the homeless outreach street team, kept bringing clothes and food and whatever else out there. The place, how some of these camps get, they're massive, and the camp ended up getting so big it built up towards the road. Well, he was finally able to get the homeless out of there, but they left all of their junk behind, and then the city came in behind the homeless after they left and started fining him because of the junk that they left behind that the city brought out there to the homeless people. You see what I'm getting? They brought the stuff out there. Then they're fining him because it's there. He had to spend $17,000 to clean that. We were out there the day that he was cleaning it. And, there's still some shopping baskets out there. There's about approximately 70 shopping carts that he could not get rid of. The stores didn't want them back. He could not junk them. So he's stuck with them, and they're still sitting on his property to this day.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that until this morning while I was listening to it on your show. And when did this happen?
This was a few months ago.
Okay, a few months ago. And our GOP chair said nothing about this.
Yeah,
the Travis County GOP and the people that are actually in charge, that actually complain the loudest about these problems, are coming up with zero active solutions to fix this.
Yeah.
You tell this story to the average everyday, the average person who lives in Austin does not know that this is happening.
Yeah, they have no clue.
And they are voting without this knowledge. You communicate this story as well as probably countless other stories like this, you could see a huge shift in how the city is managed within one election cycle. And the fact that our GOP is not doing that is either complete incompetence or just straight up malicious compliance.
Yeah,
what's happening?
I work. I'm in contact with Matt,
and Matt's cool. I like him. He's a nice guy. We get along.
Yeah.
He's been on this podcast a couple times, but it's a criticism, and I think it's a valid criticism.
Yeah,
hopefully
for sure.
It could get addressed, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, with the story that we had last week, I've lost count of who all, has contacted me over that, but I know that I did get a message from him about it, about doing a good job on it, but that was about it. And it's just sometimes the quiet is the loudest, if you know what I mean.
Well, silence is violence. Remember that?
Yeah, silence is violence. Yeah, if you're not with us, you're against us.
Well, yeah, or if you're not saying anything, you're complicit in what's going on, right? So like that's my concern with all that stuff.
For sure.
Or you're having people that are like, you're having people like the guy who talks to the trees that assaults joggers, only spend a month in jail. You have people that walk around like some dude chased, like a lady broke her leg because some crazed homeless person or crazed maniac tried to sexually assault some chick by the Congress Bridge, and she like broke her leg, and then the guy didn't even get any jail time. As a result of that, very few people living in Austin even understand. Very few people living in Austin even understand that, and you have like opposition to leadership that's just, they're not going to pour any money into like relatable candidates that will shift the paradigm.
Yeah, for sure.
They just won't. Like if you even look at this past election, like Clint Rary, right?
Yeah.
That guy was awesome.
Yeah. And
he got 9% of the vote as the only white dude running in a predominantly black district that was
good.
Historically supposed to only have it's supposed to be designed to have black leadership in that district. And he got 10% of the vote just by knocking on doors and like talking to people independently and just being a human being.
Yeah, that guy, he worked his tail end off knocking on doors. I remember he did a lot of work with me and Dash at that point, and him and Christina were tearing it up.
They were great people. They're really good people, right? But like the point is, Matt and like the Travis County GOP, they didn't help him that much.
Not much.
And look, Matt's got a bad rap. A lot of people just really dislike him.
Yeah,
so
I've
sometimes
heard that.
It's better for someone like that to not be actively like, tweeting out support, because sometimes like an endorsement from Matt's is bad for winning. But like someone like that should be putting his thinking cap on and figuring out a way to like help fund a guy like Clint without explicitly funding a guy like Clint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're just not doing, that's just not happening. It's like it doesn't seem like it's as urgent of a priority as it is for the people that are like affected by this stuff.
I wonder if anything's going to change.
You know what I mean? Like that's my take on it, right?
I don't see it changing though. This is Austin after all. It's kind of sad too. I mean, well, I don't want to say it's not going to change, because Austin has changed a lot, in the last 10 years. But, with the homelessness issue, it's got to change. It's getting to the point where it's out of control. It's out of hand. I mean, there's only so much one city can handle.
Because now they're in the green belts. So when you're walking, like it was out of hand in 2020 and in 2021 when there was an encampment on every other block.
Right.
And if you had a small home, on Manchac and Stastny, you just saw a bunch of crackheads going across the street from your house while your property taxes are at like an all-time high. It was getting out of hand. Now that it's in the greenbelt, it's less out of hand. But I mean, before we wrap up, how do people like voluntarily pay tens of thousands of dollars a year in property taxes?
Yikes.
When this is what your property is looking like, and this is what your community is looking like?
I have heard so many people angry about just that issue. It's like there's that hotel that they bought, spent millions on. It's still sitting empty. They haven't done a thing with it, while people are paying millions into the city. I don't understand. I don't understand how it's done.
Okay, but like, isn't there an election for like tax assessor right now?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, but then why is it that people like Matt are pretty silent and not figuring out a way to help support like a reasonable person to be the tax assessor, so that you're not paying a 10% year over year increase in property taxes to live in filth?
It's a good question, and I've never really looked at it that way, honestly. I'm not a big political person, and I've never really dug into it.
You're not political, but nobody's political until politics comes to you.
Yeah,
nobody wants to get involved with politics until politics gets involved with you, and that's what happens. Like that's what happened with lockdowns. That's what happened when Uber and Lyft bypassed the city's rules to operate completely without any permission.
Yeah,
and actively screwed with my ability to make a living while everything was getting way more expensive. Only psychopaths want to get involved in politics at a young age. Like nobody in high school wanted to be friends with the kid that wanted to be president.
Yeah, I mean, I've never,
Yeah.
I can't imagine why anybody would want to get into politics. I had
I
somebody, Harrison, asked me yesterday if I was interested in running for office here in Austin, and it's like, nah, I don't think so.
Well, that's a problem. Okay, but that's the thing. Before we wrap up, if you did run, how much help do you think you would get from people like Matt?
Probably not much. Well, you know what? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it just depends on my positions and if he's. I went through an election cycle last year and kind of saw what they did and how they did things. And I'm again at that point, I was so naive about politics though that I didn't really understand a lot of what I was seeing. You know what I mean?
A lot of that is the case, but yeah, I don't think you're going to get as much support as like you're not going to get nearly the amount of
Probably
funding that
not,
someone
no.
like Propane Zoe got.
No, for sure.
Not
No,
even nearly. And you
no.
don't need that funding. You need maybe like a third of that because of how crazy these policies are.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jamie, how do we get a hold of you?
Twitter is at documenting ATX. YouTube is at documenting Austin, and our website is www-atx.org.
All right. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it, man.
Please let us know when there are more works in the pipe.
Yeah, we got man. I'm putting out videos every day. So
Yeah, aren't
dash
we all?
ATX.
Aren't we all, Jamie?
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna put some out.
Yeah, I'm
We're gonna do
excited.
some stuff.
All right.
Thanks, sir.
Okay.
All right.